graphic, wow. Wow, 2 out of 3. Arr.
Mr. Fantastic, I have to refresh my memory.
Oh, is that what you're doing? Okay.
So it doesn't come in.
Very acceptable. Carson, if you can't see, you're welcome to move back here.
No, I can see just the borders and noise section.
Well, okay,
Fine.
+1. Up 3, over 1.
Solid line.
Huh?
Solid line.
Solid line. Try to hit the dots. I'm not very good at it on the board.
Shade under.
I want everything, it always points at the smaller one.
Higher.
Okay, Olivia? It always points at the smaller. So this means that everything bigger than the line. So I will
I knew it.
shade above.
Right.
Next,
Negative 3.
okay? Crosses at -3.
I think down 2 and then over.
Okay, down 2 and over 1. When I get done there, I need to look at it and say, okay, is that gonna give me a negative slope? Do I have a negative intercept? And what kind of line?
Dotted.
Okay. Olivia,
Under.
right. I want all the Ys below this line. Somebody shut my door. Oh, you're the ghost. Okay. Yes, 3 and 4 is up there. Yes, I want to see what you can and can't do. Keegan, first step.
That's a good question, Mr. Van Hazel.
Owen, first step.
You gotta minus the 5x and get. rid of
Solve for
x.
y.
Yeah,
Okay? How did I know you knew that?
Just intuition, I guess.
No. Come on, Owen, you know the answer to that.
What, that I came after school yesterday?
Yeah, you came in for a semester help, make sure you understood it.
Come up, is this dealt with?
Okay, divide by two. Now I divide everything by two.
Yeah.
I want y by itself. Is this and this the same thing? Yes. Cross it 4,
Down 5 over 2.
down 5 over 2. Solid or dotted?
Solid.
Why?
There's no,
Because there's an equal sign.
yeah.
Because it can be equal to 1. Oops, I missed. Joseph,
Yes,
why did I switch this?
that's just the way it needs to be for the,
Does it have to be that way?
I guess not, but
No,
it's normal.
if it's normal, okay? Kinda like you wearing a hat. Not supposed to be that way, but for some, that's normal. I didn't even notice till then. Okay? This time I'm gonna divide by -3. So that's gonna give me y. I don't want an equals here. I'm just gonna change it, just for the fun of it. Negative divided by negative or positive? Positive divided by negative? Okay? Cross at -1/3. Up 2. So we'll go up 1/3, up 1, up another 1, over 1. Do I have a positive slope?
No,
No, so it's not right.
you have to switch the sign.
Go up 2, back 1. Or down 2, over 1. Down 2, over 1. Same thing. Now that is a negative slope. I can almost see that. Try again. Okay? Yes?
Why is it negative? 2 minus
Why is it negative? Not, shouldn't be. Is this negative?
No,
No, so this shouldn't be negative.
there you go.
Good job, Maya. You caught me. Up to over 1. You catch me this time? Good. Yeah, I have on the board, I can fix this really easy. And it's hard to see, my, above or below? Below. Okay, yes, sir.
Is it wrong if you don't put arrows on it?
Technically, yes.
Like, would you mark it for it?
Yeah, I probably would. Because you need to have the idea that that does extend forever. Okay? specifications.
Yep.
Not sure what that means. Pass your paper in. Today's date. And
Today, we're not today's date.
today is the 10th. I hope it's the 10th of January.
You hope it is?
Is it?
No,
No? Okay. 10th of October?
no.
Closer. Okay, September 10th. And let's call, we'll call this graphing inequalities. This is just for classroom turning in. There you go. Yeah, have that little piece of scrap paper in there, huh? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. First period, right? Okay. On your homework, why was it easier? I think it was easier. Why?
It's like, yeah.
You were using graph paper. Much, much harder to do this without graph paper. It's much easier to keep it accurate. Okay? Much easier to keep it accurate with a graph. Okay? Any questions on page 1? Page 1, you had x intercepts and y intercepts. You okay with that? You just plug them each. Okay, page 2. Okay, those are just solid lines with slope and y-intercept. Okay, page 3. Now we started shading, yes. Huh? Number 16. Number 16. Thank you for asking. Now, let's go back. What is y equals -1? That is, if I'm doing a t-graph, no matter what x I put in, y is always -1. Whether I put in 5 or -50. So if I graph that, y is always -1. No matter what point I use. Okay? And I want it to be a dotted line. And do I want things bigger than that or smaller? Bigger. Does that make sense? Okay. It is when you take it a little bit, just one step at a time. No, you don't have to have this perfect, but. Okay? Good question. Next.
On 16, it's not a equal sign.
Yeah, it's greater than. That's why it's dotted, and we shaded above it,
Oh,
okay? And that y equals -1 just tells me that's a horizontal line. Okay? What if we had this one? I don't think I did put this one in here, but we very well may. X is less than 5. Brooke, what? This time, if I did a t-graph, which I'm not going to, x is always 5. Actually, x is less than 5. So to put this line, no matter whether this is -50 or +550, X is always gonna be 5. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. X is always 5. Okay, dotted lines. Arrows. Now what? Keegan, I know your eyes are open.
Shade to the left, right?
I want numbers that are smaller than 5. 0 smaller than 5, negative 17 smaller than 5. So I want all the numbers smaller than 5. Okay? If that was one on the assignment, okay? Next page, page 4. Any questions? Are you making squares? Are you making squares? Square. Okay, page 4. Any questions? 5? Any other questions? Okay. Hopefully what we went over on Bell Work solved some of those questions, if you had them. Okay? Your complete silence is telling me that was too easy of an assignment. Is that what you're telling me? Yes,
We did 25.
25. So we have x minus 4y smaller than negative 4. Minus x minus x. Negative 4y is less than. I'm just going to switch in order, because I don't have to do that, doesn't really matter. Doesn't make it wrong if I don't. I won't take points off, you have it in that order. Divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. Right, so y, negative divided by negative is a positive. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Over 4. Okay? Because I'm dividing by a negative, I gotta switch the sign. And that's probably, if you went and did the problem, why it didn't match up to your answer. Okay? Cost is at 1. Slope is negative, or positive 1/4, so up 1 over 4. So I'm gonna go up 1 over 4. Dotted or solid? Dotted. When I get done with that, I need to kind of make sure, now, is that a positive slope? Is it, as I go from this side to this side, is it going up? And then, because I switched the sign, I'm gonna shade above. That help any, Maya? Good. I'm glad I can be helpful once a week. Twice a week is above my abilities. Any other questions? Okay, if not, you're ready, pass that in. In case you haven't noticed, this fire is down. I can't put anything in grades until it comes back up. The rumor is that the wind blew the building away. It went to Oz. When it finds Kansas again, we can start putting things back in as fire. Hopefully they're gonna do it. Except in that class. Okay? I'll help you wake you up if you need help.
No, I'm super awake.
Oh, you're super awake. super week, I thought you were just being super. Oh. I decided I don't wanna get any older. I'm gonna quit getting old. Hasn't worked thus far. It's getting worse. Okay. That was so much fun. Let's go back to completing the square. Don't get overjoyed with that. One. There they are. Okay, we did completing the square the other day. We're gonna do it again. Okay, let me go ahead and pass this out. Part of it is we're just doing the same thing we was doing. But we're gonna throw a couple more curveballs at you. Couple new things. And we're not that far away from your next test. Okay? Let's see, today is Thursday, okay? Next week is a 5-day week. I won't be here next Friday. I'm taking my first day of sick leave ever. I'm just planning on being sick that day. I'm gonna catch COVID that day. Huh? Wishful thinking, right? Okay, number one. N squared minus 14n equals 38. Now this should be old hat to you. You should be very used to this.
What's 14?
Negative 14 over 2. Square it. So negative 14 is divided by 2 is negative 7. I square that, and I get 49. So I'm going to add 49 to both sides. Plus 49. So this is always a perfect square. That's why we call it completing the square. It's always a perfect square. And it's whatever variable you have, plus or minus whatever number's here. That's the easy part. That's always going to be the same. It's always a variable and either whatever, and then add or subtract whatever number's inside here. Okay? Equals, I add these together. What's 38 more than 49? Huh?
87.
Thank you. 87. Now, I will always take the square root of this when I'm solving it. Okay? Later on, I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to be solving it, so I won't take the square root. So this is n minus 7 equals, no matter what I do, this, whatever that number is, the negative squared and the positive squared is going to be the same number. So it's plus or minus square root of 87. Okay? And 3 goes into there. How many times? 87 is 3 times 29. Okay? So to get it out of the square root, I have to have 2 factors alike. I don't have them, so I just leave it there. Okay? So this will not change. So I'm going to add 7. These aren't like terms, so n equals 7 plus or minus the square root of 87. Is that the right answer on the back? It is. Except for they have it written different. 7 plus the square root of 87, 7 minus the square root of 87. That is the same thing. This is just a simpler way to write that same answer. Okay? Easy, right? Easy peasy. Okay. look at the next page. Next page isn't much different. Ah, but the page after that, there's some things there. Number 17. Something new about that. Don't be overly excited about this. I know it's really stimulating. Okay, number 17. What's new about it?
Yep.
I do, but I was over there. Number 17. I have 2x squared plus 17x plus 17 equals -1 plus x. Now, you said I had to solve the equation. What do you mean?
So like you have to like move the 17 over and then the 7.
Okay. I want all the variables on one side, the constants on the other. So, I'm going to minus 17. Minus 17. Next. Nick?
Minus X.
Minus x. Minus x. Just so I have the variables on one side and the non-variables on the other. That gives me 2x squared plus 16x equals -18. Something very different this time. Graphic or geometrically, I'm finding 2 squares. I'm going to have 2 squares. So I'm going to divide this by 2, so I only have 1. If I divide one thing, I have to divide it all by 2. Oops, why am I doing that in negative? And that gives me x squared, okay, plus 8x equals -9. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Okay? When we do the next part, what we're going to do, it's going to be a little bit different. Okay? Than this. Make sure I'm not making a big mistake. Okay? So, from there, I'm going to take the 8, divide it by 2, and square it. And that is plus 16. Plus 16. Same thing as before. This here, again, it's going to be a square. No difference after that point. Equals what? -9 plus 16.
7.
7. Take the square root of both sides. This over here has to be a plus and minus because negative square roots of 7 squared is the same thing as positive square roots of 7. So x plus 4 equals plus or minus the square root of 7. Minus 4, minus 4. Don't try to add these together, they're not like terms. So x equals -4 plus or minus square root of 7. And I'm done. So I should check and make sure. Did I get the same answer as them? Number 17. I did. Okay. When we're using complete the squares to do what's finding HK or the vertex, we'll do this a little different. And after we've done that, we will be taking our test. I think that's all we have left in that, but that's, we'll worry about that when we get there, next time. Okay? You alive with that? Hello, sir. Just in time. We just finished going over the assignment.
I timed that perfectly.
I'm sure you did that on purpose. okay? Not a huge amount of difference, but a little bit. Excuse the label. The wind blew your bicep over, is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, it's on my.
Okay. I guess, to each his own. Okay? As far as I'm concerned, you have the rest of the period to finish, to work on it. But if you don't want it, I can find other work.
No, it's
That's
okay.
You understand